In today's video, I'll be revealing the 10 biggest retirement mistakes that I've learned from working with hundreds of clients in their 60s, mistakes they wish they'd known about at 50. Through helping retirees navigate the challenges that emerge in their 60s, I've discovered that the biggest regrets aren't about investment performance, they're about timing and planning decisions that could have been corrected with earlier knowledge. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, to show you the top 10 retirement mistakes that can become expensive fixes by 60 so that you can course correct earlier when you've still got some flexibility. If you're new to the channel, my name's Ben. I've been a financial advisor focusing on retirement planning for almost 20 years, and I want to help make your retirement even better. All right, mistake number 1, neglecting tax strategy in your 50s. So the biggest tax mistake I see people make on the run-up to retirement is realizing too late that they don't have enough in their Roth IRA. And of course, in a panic, they say, I'm going to fix this right now, and they switch their 401k contributions from traditional to Roth. The funny thing is that's usually the worst time to do it for two reasons. One, you're probably in your peak earning years, meaning you're paying the highest taxes that you're ever going to pay. And two, your income often drops once you retire, especially if you're a super saver that's already likely living below your means. So instead of forcing Roth contributions while you're in a high tax bracket, wait until those early retirement years when your income naturally dips down. That's really the sweet spot for those Roth conversions before Social Security starts or before your income is being tracked for IRMAA at age 63. So right before retirement during your peak earning years, you want to be fully in deduction mode wherever possible, meaning non-Roth 401ks and HSAs if you have access to those as well. So if you're trying to fix your tax problem at the last minute, you're really not saving taxes, you're overpaying Uncle Sam unnecessarily. Mistake number 2 is tracking savings but not tracking spending. So this one hits super savers the hardest. For years, you focused on how much you're saving, right? Maxing out 401ks, IRAs, putting money in brokerage accounts, all of the above for most of you. But you spent almost zero time figuring out what you might actually want to spend in retirement. So when your paycheck stops, you really have no idea what number you want to maintain every month for your lifestyle. And here's what's funny. Many of my super saver clients, they can actually spend more in retirement than they did while they're working because they've done two things really right? They have controlled their lifestyle creep and they've saved an enormous amount of money as a percentage of their income. But because they never practiced their spending, they get to retirement and they kind of freeze up, right? They go into scarcity mode when they have a lot of abundance available to them. So tracking spending isn't about limiting yourself. It's about removing uncertainty and replacing it with confidence. And you can't feel confident retiring if you just don't know how much you want to spend. Mistake number 3, taking Social Security without a firm strategy. This is a very easy one to fall into, especially for married couples. It's natural to think that your retirement date and your Social Security date should be the same day, basically, right? Retire on Monday and then claim your benefits on Tuesday. But really, that decision can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime if you mess it up. Here's the big Social Security rule that many people forget. The big check stays and the little check goes away. No matter who passes away first, the survivor keeps the larger benefit. So claiming early doesn't just affect you, it affects your spouse's income for the rest of their life. So don't let your retirement date make your decision for you on Social Security. Have a strategy that coordinates your spouse's benefits, your portfolio, all of the above, right? You want to maximize your household retirement income, not just maximizing the first year of retirement spending. Mistake number 4, forgetting about mean and IRMAA. For those of you not familiar, that's the extra we pay for Medicare if your income is too high. And just for fun, I asked ChatGPT what mean and IRMAA might look like, and this is what they came up with. Striking figure. So how do we avoid IRMAA regret? Well, we use a strategy that I call in for a penny and in for a pound. And the thing that I absolutely hate to see when I'm reviewing a tax return, when someone's over 63, is when they're just a few dollars or even a few $100s into that next Medicare premium bracket. Because once you cross that threshold, even if it's just $1, you're paying the entire premium, that higher premium for an entire year. And it doesn't stop there, right? Cost of living increases tied to your Social Security benefits, investment growth, RMDs, if you make the mistake of getting a year older every year, all of those can push you even higher into brackets in the future, especially once your spouse passes away. We call it the widow's tax. So if you're going to cross into an IRMAA bracket, make sure you do it strategically. Fill it up. If you're going to be in for a penny, be in for a pound. If you're just a bit over that bracket, fill it all the way up. How do we do that? Well, we do Roth conversions to the top of the bracket. Sometimes we'll harvest capital gains, or we'll just pull forward withdrawals for future spending, right? Reach into the future, pull those cash flows forward, and pay the taxes. That extra planning gives you a lot more liquidity later and reduces the odds that we'll get pushed into even higher brackets in the future. That little bit of extra annual planning gives you more liquidity later and reduces the odds you'll get pushed even further into higher brackets sometime in the future. Mistake number 5, chasing one more year syndrome. So one more year syndrome is incredibly common. It's saying, I'll retire next year, where I'll feel a little bit more ready. Hoping that one more year will bring some more certainty and the universe will send this all clear signal that you're perfectly comfortable retiring. I often compare it to having kids. If you wait until you're 100% financially certain you can afford kids, well, you'll have them promptly on your 80th birthday. Retirement works much in the same way. There's always one more unknown, one more reason to wait, and one more spreadsheet that needs some tweaking. At some point, you just have to take the leap. Obviously, we want to let the boat get close enough to the dock so we can step in without falling into the lake, but at some point, you just have to stop measuring and start living. So I'd much rather see you retire 1 year too soon than 5 years too late. And I mean that. Mistake number 6, not testing your plan while you're working. This is what I call the retirement rehearsal. Of course, you wouldn't buy a car without a test drive, so don't start retirement without a test drive either. I encourage you to take a staycation or take a mock retirement while you're still working, and then live off of your projected retirement budget for a few weeks or a month and see how it feels. It's really amazing what people learn when they actually practice retirement before they pull the plug on their career. They discover which expenses might be underestimated, which expenses might be overestimated, and the result, of course, is more confidence, of course, and then a smoother transition once your real retirement actually begins. Mistake number 7, underestimating healthcare costs before Medicare. So the years between retirement and age 65 can be very expensive, but that alone might not be enough of a reason to keep working. For super savers, this is a bridge problem, not a full deal breaker, in my opinion. With smart planning, we can create a retirement income bridge that covers those healthcare premiums, those higher premiums from whenever you retire until Medicare kicks in. Even if healthcare costs more for a few years, it's still cheaper than trading some of the best years of your retirement for just another lap around the sun chained to your desk. Unless you truly have not saved enough to bridge that gap, this is just another obstacle to deal with, not a reason to keep working. Mistake number 8, keeping too much in tax-deferred accounts. So if your portfolio is 90% traditional IRA or 401k, you have a retirement nest egg, but you also have a quiet partnership with Uncle Sam. Eventually, of course, pipers must be paid, and income force-outs called RMDs, required minimum distributions, well, that can push you into a higher tax bracket later, especially once your spouse passes away, and we have half of our standard deduction, we have half of our IRMA brackets, and we have half of our marginal brackets. We call it the widow's tax, as I alluded to earlier in the video. That's why thoughtful Roth conversions timed correctly are one of the most powerful tax tools that retirees have access to. You, of course, don't have to convert everything all at once. Just build a smart Roth strategy over several years while your tax brackets are lower before your RMDs start. And additionally, super savers could look at funding a brokerage account, which will give them additional liquidity in retirement. That's after-tax savings. So your future self will thank you. Mistake number 9, not coordinating spousal retirement timing. Retirement is a team sport. When spouses retire independently, they often miss out on key planning opportunities like aligning income sources or coordinating benefits like health insurance or sequencing their withdrawals efficiently. So, for example, one spouse might continue to work while the other defers Social Security, or one could work for the health insurance while the other does part-time work, whatever that may be. Or they could use portfolio distributions while the other is working. There's many things that could complement each other that different spouses have access to. So when couples coordinate their retirement planning, they can smooth out some expenses and they can create more predictability with fewer surprises. So coordinate those spousal benefits. And then finally, mistake number 10, focusing on portfolio size instead of income planning. This is just like our 1 more year problem. This is the 1 more million problem. People love round numbers, just something with our brains. A round number sounds safe. It sounds satisfying, right? But the difference between retiring with 3.9 million and retiring with 4 million is basically imperceivable. It's just really another excuse to keep working. So the goal of retirement planning isn't just to grow the biggest balance, it's to create reliable, sustainable retirement income that funds the lifestyle that you actually want post-work in retirement. So really stop asking, what's my magic retirement number? And start asking, what's my desired retirement income? And then use all the tools we talk about on the show, work that math backwards, and that should be your focus, not some arbitrary round number. So if you'd like help building a plan that avoids some of these mistakes, go ahead and click the link in the description, book some time on my calendar, and we'll build a plan for you. So until next time, my name is Ben. I hope this video helped to make your retirement even better, and I'll see you on the next one.